right, welcome back. Got out for a little more bug optics this weekend with the Glock 26. The Glock 26 with a SRO on top of it. Man, it shoots almost as well as like a bigger gun, a 19 maybe. But anyway, take a look at the rest of those stages. We'll come back. I got some more of the winner's circle, like 3 big matches to talk about. The one I'm really interested to tell you guys about is the Bug CCP Optics Outlaw match that took place just this weekend, or 2 weekends ago, in Las Vegas. It looks awesome. Let's talk about that when we come back.
I'm getting numb to it now.
Ah! All right, so there it is. Just a local with a 26, but man, that thing's coming along nicely. So I'm thinking that might be what I use in bug optics going forward. I know I got a couple other guns I want to try, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. Okay, so first match, the Tri-State Shootout, Tier 2 up in, should have looked it up before I pressed go on the camera, but anyway, Tri-State Shootout, high overall was Brady Harden, shooting in CO this time. He's been shooting in CDP for the last few months, or as long as I've been around, or I've seen his name around, so maybe he's making the switch to CO, I don't know. CDP for that match was Skip Darden. I've met Skip a number of times. He's a traveling SO, so we always appreciate that. SSP was Matt Downing. Don't know Matt, but well done, buddy. ESP, Matt Sims. So another Matt in ESP. Revolver was Bryant Bro. Don't know how to say your last name, Bryant. Brough. So if somebody knows how to say that, let me know. Bug, the One True Division. Robbie Lightfoot. Good work, dude. I've seen your name, or seen that name, on top of Bug Divisions before. So shooting the One True Division, we appreciate it. PCC, Ivan Bogomazov? I think that's right. So I think that's right. Ivan, if I screwed it up, sorry, dude. In CCP, Seth Hayden, he's been shooting in CCP for a long time. I've got one of his coins from the National Championship last year, so that was pretty cool too. He ran the low light stage, if I'm not mistaken. 73 total shooters at that match, and right around 50% were shooting dots. Looks like there were 3 DNFs as my tablet goes away. One I can definitely tell was a gear check failure. I think it was a sub minor ammo, which happens, dude. Like last year, I was at the USPSA match and it got down to like the last round. They were like, okay, we're gonna fire this one. If the average doesn't go over 125, you're shooting for no score. But it did, so I was like just on the line. So it happens to people, not that big of a deal. But I thought that was interesting that the trend is continuing at nearly or over 50% of shooters shooting a dot, which is just more evidence that we need to break up, or not necessarily break up, but have more divisions for dots. If dots are going to be the primary sighting system for people, then it doesn't make sense to have 1 dot division and 6 or 7 iron sight divisions. Okay, the next match, Maryland State IDPA Championship. This was their 20th anniversary match. So awesome, been running that for 20 years. High overall and CCP division champion, James McGinty. James is a hell of a shooter. I know he's a DM in something else. I want to say ESP, but I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, James, then sorry, dude. But I think that's it. CDP was Sean Hopkins. Sean won something else during a different video, and my buddy Rich Simmons out there in Maryland reminded me that he's one of the guys. I've been back and forth to Maryland and DC a few times and shot with those guys, and Rich reminded me, yeah, you know Sean, he's one of the guys here. So, and Rich came in 3rd in CDP, so well done there too, buddy. SSP, David Alasso, I think that's how I say your name. If I'm screwing that up, sorry. I know he's I want to say he's a DM in Revolver. I know he's a good Revolver shooter. I think that's the person I'm thinking of. If I'm wrong and I'm saying wrong stuff, I'm sorry again. Ken Rose came in 2nd at 98%. Ken is somebody else I met over there. He helped me out with a number of different things with shooting and stuff, and he came in 98% of David, and that's a hell of a match. ESP was John Carter. Don't know John, but well done, buddy. Same for Christopher Bush and Revolver. I feel like I've heard that name before, and it's maybe another one Rich will text me and say, yeah, you know Chris, he's around here too. And I think I've got this name, but I don't. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Eric Szczesny? Sczesny? Eric. I don't know if I'm getting it right, but I think that's right. So I think the last thing I have here is no bug, you bastards. I don't know how they've let you go on 20 years with no bug division. No PCC, okay, that's fine, but no bug division, come on, man. Anyway, 148 total shooters, 80 of which were in CO, which is just CO because no PCC, which is over 54% of shooters choosing a dot gun. So we'll just continue with the trend of, I think the last few we've been looking at were like over 60%, so a little bit lower, but not a ton, 54% and just over 50% for the tier 2. Okay. The CCP bug and outlaw match. This was super interesting to me. I really wanted to go. It's in Vegas, so it's relatively West Coast or near me. I'm up in Seattle. But that weekend, I'm in the Air Force Reserve, and I had to go to this conference thing, so there's just no way I could break away and do it. And on top of that, adding another match from my wife's point of view was not something she wanted me to do. But there are a number of interesting outcomes from that match. So if I understand this correctly, what they do is it's CCP and bug only, but they've broken it down into irons divisions and optics divisions. So with that in mind, that took place April 13th. The bug irons division champion was Jerry Chang. Sorry. I don't know Jerry, but well done. Bug optic was Mark Koch. I've talked a little bit to Mark. I've got some of his footage that he said he wouldn't mind if I played for you because I wanted to see some of what was going on at that match. CCP Optic was Chad Cunningham. We've talked to Chad a number of times. He's been on with Paul and Anthony, and they've discussed bug optics or CCP optics over there. So check that out if you haven't. But more ammunition for having more optics. CCP Iron and overall winner Bill Olmsted. Well done, Bill. Shot with Bill a number of times, shot against Bill a number of times at CCP. He's a hell of a shooter. And I thought it was quite interesting that the person who took top marks in the match was an iron-sighted shooter. So recently I've had some communication with my AC, who I think is generally is a good dude. Like I'm not dogging him, but he, I was, of course it's me. So I'm asking questions like, what about optics and in this, and how does optics in this work and shit like that. And he was like, optics are in CO. That's it. It's unfair for somebody to be shooting an iron-sighted gun versus somebody shooting an optic-sighted gun. But dude, Bill would beg to differ, I think. So I think that in general, I'll say that I think optics have an advantage. However, maybe when we get into these little guns, it's not that big of a difference. I don't really know, but I think that that's evidence that it's more on the shooter than it is the dot. I think the equipment matters to an extent, but I think the guy or the gal matters more than the equipment. So my 2 cents. At the match, there were 67 total shooters, 2 DQs, which isn't bad. For a match that size, I don't think it's indicative of if there was like some matches where there's been like 15 DQs and they're all in the same place. It's like, well, we have an SO issue or a stage issue, but that's not indicative of anything like that. Seems like there was a lot of interest just in dots in general. 67 people for a local because it's, I think you could make that into a tier 2 match. I think that they would authorize that, or I think that there's an avenue through which headquarters could authorize it. Whether or not they would is another question. Total numbers in each division, there were 7 people shooting bug irons, only 4 in bug optic, 19 in CCP irons, and 33 in CCP optics. So you might take away from that and be like, see, Joe, you're wrong. People don't want bug optics. But I think that here's how I'm going to twist that to make myself right again, is that I think most people, like I've said from the beginning, want a division where they can shoot their carry-sized guns with optics. And I think that the way that we go about doing that and not having it just turn into CO again is to first get optics and bug and then increase the box and the 6 and 15 thing that I've talked about over and over again. You guys are probably tired of hearing me talk about. But anyway, the stages that I saw from that looked like they were awesome. I'm hoping next year it doesn't conflict with anything and I can get down there. But in the meantime, take a look at also the video that Mark made. It's hilarious because it's like a girl and she's like, "What do men want?" And here I am describing the video to him. I'm about to show you, but it was hilarious. And what do men want? They want optics and bug. So pay attention, ladies of IDPA, everyone in IDPA. Just remember, men want optics and bug. All right, one more thing I forgot to mention. I talked to Mark before, or when I asked him, because I didn't just take his video off Instagram and put it up here. I asked him, like, "Hey, man, I want to use that." But I asked him for his thoughts on bug/CCP optics. And he has some thoughts that are pretty similar to mine. So this is what he had to say. He said, "Joe, though most won't admit it, most of us don't actually carry RDP competition guns daily, myself included. In order for this sport to grow and thrive, it really needs to adapt and evolve with the advances in firearms technology, designs, and trends, which includes higher capacity, optics-compatible, compact, and subcompact guns. The potential of a bug CCP optics division, I feel, is a step in the right direction to get IDPA back to the founding core principle of," and he quotes, and I love it, "firearms and equipment suitable for concealed carry self-defense."
You want him to preach?
Yeah.
Get up and preach. Get up and preach.
The vast majority of gun manufacturers introducing new gun models are almost always optics ready now. IDPA cannot, should not ignore that trend if they hope to remain competitive in the shooting world. He took the thoughts right out of my head because I feel exactly the same, specifically with the equipment suitable for concealed carry. This sport is supposed to be about concealed carry, but nobody concealed carries with a vest and a huge 2011 or whatever. So I'm glad to see somebody else is feeling that way too. He's not the only person who's expressed those that sentiment to me. So thank you, Mark, and thank you everybody down in Las Vegas for putting on the match and moving the ball a little further down the line for more optics in IDPA. Super appreciate it. Yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
What the hell do men want?